cloud. Thank you. I'm sharing and let's get started because time is so super precious. Can everyone see the correct, not the presenter version? Can everyone see a nice version of the PowerPoint? Thumbs up if you can see. Yeah, great. Wonderful. Thank you. All right. Well, welcome this morning. Why we're here today is we're excited. This is a soft launch. So I'm going to level set with the bar nice and low. This is a soft launch partner program for our team assessment. This has been 3 years in development, and we're ready to share it with the world, and we're super glad that you're here. Little bit of sort of social proof behind this. Helen Ashton's the VP of People and Culture at Grand and Toy. They're about a $700 million organization, pan-Canadian group, and this was her endorsement after her team and one of the other teams took the assessment. And it's really what we tried to create is something that's holistic. So as coaches and trainers and advisors, you can really get an understanding of what's going on in a team, not just parts of what's going on in a team, but the whole thing. Okay. Now, your time is super important, real privilege that you're here with us today, really deeply grateful. And so we're offering, I want to say, well, why are we here today? And there's 3 whys. Why number 1 is there's a big problem in the world that we can solve together. Harvard research suggests that 75% of teams have significant dysfunction. And I think we've all maybe experienced that in our personal lives, in our work lives. And Gartner in 2023 put the cost of this starts with a T. This is a major human scale issue. The second why, so what we're going to do is solve that together. And I want to say it's really important that it's really nobody's fault, right? Because this stuff is not trained in school or college or anywhere else. The second why is for you. As a coach or as a trainer, we think that it's quite likely it takes months for you when you engage with a new team to deeply understand what's going on. Several meetings, it could take, significant digging and discovery. And what we think the assessment offers is instead of months, you can deeply understand a new team for you in minutes. Okay. And the third why is we want to go to market with partners. You have trust-based relationships. We're deeply respectful of those. We want to preserve them and keep them safe at all times. And so we've come up with what we think is a really generous discount program or a partner program with a 30% discount. And something that might be unique with what we're offering is that as the assessment scales through your client, company, organizations, that can become a passive income stream for you that can also scale. So potentially a nice addition to your coaching or training practice. But before we do that, let's talk about people. My name is Greg Nook, and I am the founder of CopperTeams. I am joined here today with our Chief Spiritual Officer, Juliana Bootsman, and she is also our lead coach. If you want to say hi, Juliana.
Oh. Hello, it's really a pleasure to be here with all of you. Thank you for joining us.
Wonderful. And also here today, we have 3 of our advisors. And so Dr. Gil Brady, Dr. Rob Bogosian, and Peter McCoppin. If guys, I'll ask you to say a few words a little bit later, but if you just want to identify yourselves, Dr. Brady, and there's Peter McCoppin and Dr. Rob on an airplane. Cool.
Hi.
Hello. And if we could just each go around, because we're really all about people first at CopperTeams, people before numbers. Could each of you just share with us your name, where you are in the world, and sort of your role here? Are you a coach? Are you an executive? Are you a trainer? So John, can we start with you?
Yeah, for sure. Hi, everybody. My name is John Coleman. I live in Souk, British Columbia with my daughter, who you met earlier. And I'm a Wonder Doctor, PhD in Wonder and Human Performance. And I am a coach, a consultant, a trainer, a number of different things, and a therapist as well, a trained therapist.
Thank you. Jamie, how about you go next?
Sure, Jamie Conklin. I'm from upstate New York in the US, Vice President of Client Partnerships with Next Element Consulting. Joined Next Element back in September and excited to be with you all.
Thank you, Jamie. Mallory?
Thank you. Good morning. I'm in Squamish, BC. I wear a couple of different hats. I'm a leadership and executive coach. I do a lot of neuro coaching. I'm an HR manager. I just saw a comment. I'm also a Bills fan. So anyone else out there? But ultimately, I'm grateful to be here. I met Greg at Disrupt HR, and it's really a privilege just to witness everything that's unfolding with CopperTeams.
Thank you, Mallory. Maxime?
Yes, thank you. Good morning. Max, yeah, I'm coming from Montreal, and I have a small practice. I coach people on a spiritual basis. So here we go.
You can talk to our Chief Spiritual Officer.
Yeah, I bet.
Jennifer, good morning.
Hey everyone, I'm Jennifer Barron. I'm in Bend, Oregon, and I have my own business as an executive coach after a 30 plus year career as more of a strategy consultant, and looking forward to chatting with you guys today.
Hey, Jennifer. Morning, Deborah.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Deborah Kozowski. I'm from Edmonton, Alberta. I am an independent practice after 30 years, almost 30 years of working in healthcare, life leadership and executive coach. And Juliana brought this to my attention at Disrupt HR. So we've known each other for a few years. Thank you.
Thank you, Deborah. Oh, and Mia, good morning. I didn't know that you had joined. Mia has just joined our team and is helping us build our training with Juliana. Good morning, Mia.
Hello, everyone. I'm actually a retired business and leadership coach and super excited to be on board with CopperTeams as one of their head coaches and spiritual junkie, spiritual guru. So super fascinating to be here with all of you. I've heard all of your names, and now to put a face to a name is like magic.
Thank you, Mia. Michael, good morning.
Good morning. We've been helping leaders get better results with themselves, their team, and their organization for 14 years. And apparently CopperTeams has come up with a really cool tool to help do exactly that. So I'm excited to be on the call.
Thank you so much, Michael. Appreciate it. Jacqueline?
Jacqueline said in the chat that she would like to, she just said hi in the chat. She's on a crowded train.
Okay.
So just say
Thank
hi
you,
in the chat.
You're an international woman of mystery. We love it. Thank you very much. Jacqueline's a former director of McKinsey, I believe. Dr. Rob introduced us to her. Grateful you're here, Jacqueline. And Clement?
Hi everyone, my name is Clement. I just joined Dr. Greg yesterday, and I'm interested to see what this is. I'm former director of Microsoft. I live here in Washington, Washington State, specifically in Seattle. So I'm excited to be here.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you all. So I'd like to invite Dr. Rob and Dr. Gill just to, as two of our longstanding advisors, just to say a few words about why are you advising us, and yeah, anything you want to say. So Dr. Brady, would you like to start?
Thanks, Greg. Yeah, I'll be brief, but I have two organizations, one that I started myself, Relationship Impact, and then I was one of the principals for Core Strengths and affiliated with the Strength Deployment Inventory. And we recently sold Core Strengths to Crucial Learning, Crucial Conversations. That's usually what most people associate Crucial Learning with. And so really, I feel like for the last 30 years, the work I've done is focused on really this idea of learning, both at an individual level, if that's executive coaching, learning at the team level, and then organizational. So I met Rob, who you'll meet here in a second. We both went to GW together. and their doctoral program on human and organizational learning, which is also referred to as their executive leadership program, or ELP. And, one of the riddles I think that we're still trying to figure out and will continue to figure out is this balance between the relational effectiveness of a group, but also their structural structuration, we could call it, or structuring, so that that relational effectiveness that they may develop isn't compromised by the structure that they co-create. And so that riddle to me has always been interesting. And in meeting Greg and having conversations with Rob and Greg about CopperTeams, I think there's a really great opportunity in terms of what this assessment brings to light and what it integrates. And I think this is really important. I think one of the current trends on teams is this idea of high-performing teams. And I think that we're doing some harm around this quest for high-performing teams. I think we really are looking for high-impact teams. And to get to the impact piece requires our ability to understand the relationship between our agency and our structure, our relationships and our structure. And I was just really, really impressed, and I feel excited about what the CopperTeams assessment alone does in terms of accelerating that process of a team articulating their perspective on where they're at within that integration. And then the second part is, I think, leaning into what we can then provide, both in terms of the people on this, all of you and the expertise you bring, but also, leaning into AI and what else, positive aspects we can bring to allow teams to get a quick and clear understanding of how they integrate their relationships in their structure, how they commit to learning together and practicing together. I think that word is really important, and how aware they are about their collective commitment to learning to be and practice being a really high impact team. So, to me, it's a lifelong quest, mostly because I believe that there's two jokes I like to say. One is that even Jesus found out that 12 was one too many, as far as teams go. And so that at least should tell us that it's pretty challenging to get a team together and really have it be high impact. And the second thing is that within our teams, we find deep meaning. And so I just think, we have a real opportunity to help people enjoy their lives better, because I think our ability to affiliate with a team and to see that as a learning engine just adds tremendous impact to our lives and allows us to impact others just as much.
Thank you, Dr. Brady. That was interesting. More than I hoped for. Really appreciate it. Thank you. We're grateful.
Hey, can I just ask what the difference between a high performing and a high impact team is? Because that struck me and I didn't understand what you meant.
Yeah, I'll refer to our SDI assessment a little bit, in the sense that there's three core motives, and those motives are performance, people, and process. And I think there's a very positive intention behind trying to develop high performing teams, but I think we end up overdoing the performance focus at the expense of people and process. In other words, and so then what ends up happening is we pursue that performance while at the same time under considering or with a lack of consideration for the impact on people. And are we co-creating something that's sustainable and affirming and life-giving? And so what I see is the organizations I get asked to come into who have this high performance culture is, yeah, they are performing, but their turnover is starting to creep up. Their engagement is starting to creep down. And I don't think they really consider that what they're looking for is impact, not performance. And impact integrates people, process, and performance in a way that we feel and sense and we could call it flow or momentum, but I think the conversations I'm having with people who are trying to develop the most productive teams possible, when we talk about this, they will say it's just so hard not to fall into that performance over focused performance trap.
Yeah. Wonderful. Thank you. We got a bonus masterclass today, Gil. That's fantastic. Jennifer, this is a good time. Could you say a few words? Jennifer is our very first coach partner, and that relationship is formalized now. And could you just say a few words of why you decided to introduce CopperTeams to your client and whatever it is you'd like to say about our relationship so far?
Yes, our nascent relationship. And I'm excited I'm the first. I didn't know that, but like I said before, I have a executive coaching business, and my clients tend to be CEOs of smaller companies or founders. And as all of you guys probably know, probably half of what we talk about are the people on their team and their leadership teams. And I always intuitively knew this isn't an individual issue, it's a collective issue, but I personally don't work with teams as a whole. And then somehow, Greg, we met, and I don't even know how we met, but because I didn't go to that HR thing. But, we talked. I'll forever associate you with the grocery store parking lot because I was sitting in a grocery store parking lot. And, your own passion and commitment to this area was very powerful. And then when I looked at the assessment and the criteria for evaluating team effectiveness, it was just so sensible. And I have like 35 years doing strategy consulting and leadership. And I was like, whoa, oh my God, here's all this amazing criteria in one place. So I loved it. So then one of my clients, who's a CEO of a small insurance company, I just said, hey, I think this is really great. He looked at it and felt the same way. And, and then went with Greg. I didn't do anything. I just introduced you to. And so kind of the least important part to me when I introduced was something about passive income, because I was much more interested in how do I add value to my clients. But I'm looking forward to, because as someone who's never, experienced that in my own professional life, I'm like, okay, well, that'll be good. So they're kicking off their project right now. And I have great confidence in the impact. Looking forward to being involved a little bit and then hopefully being able to provide more introductions.
Jennifer, thank you so much. As I said, you've been an amazing early contributor to this mission. So thank you.
Thank you.
Rob, if you're still with us on the airplane, briefly, so we can make sure we have time for a little bit of a walkthrough of the assessment as well. What words would you have to share with us?
Well, you and I have known each other for many, many years. I love how you do what you do. And when I saw the product, I fell in love with it. The diagnostic is great. I have a boutique consultancy in Boston and Naples, Florida. We focus on executive leadership development, CEO succession planning, and shaping and sustaining cultures of voice. So that's my research, cultures of voice and cultures of silence. So I've seen the diagnostic in action. I love what it does. And I love how much productivity and health it injects into groups. So bravo, love it. Can't wait to go further. I'm on my way to Chicago, so we've got to get this into the Chicago system. Right. I'm happy to meet you all, Greg and Juliana. Great to see you, Greg. Gil, good to know you're here. So thank you for this moment.
Thank you, Rob. And I just have to say to everybody, Dr. Rob was my professor back in an MBA between Boston and Shanghai in 2008. He's actually the reason we're here today. This idea started in 2008 when he cracked the door open for us to what multicultural high performance teamwork actually embodies. And it kind of blew my mind. So, Rob, we owe you a debt of gratitude, sir.
Likewise, thank you.
All right. Okay. So that is awesome. Let's dive in. Here we go. So about 10 minutes I've got for you. So really we're here to solve two problems. Problem one I alluded to already. Together we've got people struggling unnecessarily around the world. And this is no one's fault because we're not trained how to be highly effective or highly impactful together as teams. So that's problem one. Problem two is, this is more of a hypothesis, is as a coach or a trainer, when you stop coaching, you may stop earning. And so we have a solution to both of these problems, and that is our team assessment. And the goal from the beginning was to take something as complex as team dynamics, and it really is complex. It's co-created. We're all beautiful, diverse, individual people, and it's real time and changing all the time. We wanted to make the invisible visible. Okay, and so through a 20-minute diagnostic that is anonymous except for the team leader, this is one of two visual representations of everything that's going on in this team. We're actually measuring 30 variables that research associates with highly effective teams. But in this presentation, we group them into 10 essential team dynamics. Even more distilled, we actually come up with a single score, right? And this is particularly interesting to executives for a broad overview. And the total leading indicator score is built by two parts: the team dynamic plus their most recently reported hard metrics, because if we're all kumbaya and we don't hit the numbers, it doesn't really matter. Okay. So today's purpose is not to do a deep dive on the assessment, just know today that we're looking at scales here for each of these 10 dynamics. Once they hit 60%, we're into the green zone, and then we can push higher. And the red dots here people find interesting. These are outliers, and this is where the opportunities and the landmines exist. So very interesting conversations that come from that. And there'll be lots of time for questions at the end. I was excited to show you this because this is real data from a team right now. This is to performance. So let's say you have a client and they have two teams and you're getting to know them for the first time. This is real data from a client right now. And the data on the left is from their worst performing team. And the data on the right is from their best performing team. So we've got a total score here of 38 and a total score of 55. And you can see on all of these different metrics, right, these different dynamics, the difference between these teams. And so the question, I'll just ask it rhetorically for now. As a coach, would you be able to see this, and would this function as somewhat of a quick start guide to know where to go first, right, to explore? Okay. This group is about $800 million in revenue, and it's comprised of about 17 portfolio companies. Now, this is the second visual, and I'll go here first. If you look at this and this is your reaction, it's totally normal. But the point here is, if you want to really dive deeper, so this is the whole teamwork model, and we call it the House of Copper. This is all 30 variables that are happening in a team every time they meet, each with a red, yellow, green indicator. Okay, we won't dive into this today. That's not the point. The point here is this is everything at a granular basis in a visual format. Okay. We also include the quarter and annual goals here to tie the hard performance to soft team dynamic. Totally normal to feeling overwhelmed when you look at that. That is what our training is for our coach partners. And again, here's that same comparison, best and worst teams in this organization. Visually, once you're oriented to what this actually comprises, once you're trained, you can see the difference in between these two teams very, very quickly on all of the things that are going on. Okay. So here's something from Dr. Regier, so this will be familiar. And the Next Element team took the assessment, and this was, Jamie, this was the output. And I'm not sure if you were involved in this one. This was maybe a little bit before you, but yeah, it was really nice to hear. Dr. Regier is a PhD psychologist, and Next Element has a fabulous tool for healthy conflict and how to engage conflict. And so this was a nice endorsement. Next is, our partner program. We have two ways of going about it, and I called them done by you. So the assessments and the debriefs are done by you and you're trained, or done with you, whichever you prefer. And I'll just say again, we're very deeply respectful of relationships. So whatever is comfortable for you. Okay. A 30 to 50% discount on done by you, and a 10% discount if we are debriefing on your behalf. People want to know, you'll probably want to know pricing. And so for the first baseline assessment for a team, this is the current pricing. And, we're very open and I hope humble in saying, we think this is good pricing for the market, but with all things that we do, we want to co-create with you. So feedback is such a gift. Okay. And so we break this up by small and medium-sized business, and then enterprise, some idea of employees, how we define that. And this is the price for an assessment per team member. And this is retail price. Okay. All right. And then we go into what is this discussion about passive scalable income? So I worked up a little example for us. So let's hypothetically, you've signed on as a partner, and the first assessment that you choose to do with a team, you're debriefing it in person for that client team. You've been trained with us. And so what that looks like, we call this a baseline CTA, CopperTeams assessment. So the baseline, the client is paying, and this is for a team of 6 that we modeled, they're paying about $1,700. And at the 30% discount level, you're earning $522, and at 50%, $870. So that's, we would call active income, because you're actually working with the client and doing a debrief. So now we get into the passive scalable side. So let's say you did the active debrief with the top level team or a senior team in a company, but now they see the value in this and they want to start to scale it. Okay. They decide that they're going to do the top 20 teams in their company, and we view this as annual recurring revenue. So this is something much like financial reporting we would do once a quarter, because team effectiveness to us is a leading indicator of future performance. Okay, so now that your client has decided to scale to their top 20 teams annually to do the assessment either quarterly or twice a year, they're paying about $19,000, and you're earning somewhere between $5,000 and $9,000. The computer is here to note that this is no longer active work. This is passive, right? This is check the bank account when you're on vacation kind of money. And then if it's a larger organization, finally we go to, all right, now they scale to the top 100 teams. And the individual assessment, I'll note here, is very modestly priced. So the value for the client is just huge, right? We priced it that way intentionally. And so now client's paying about 100, and you're earning somewhere between 28 and 48 in a year. Okay. So that's what we mean by passive scalable income. We see this as, because our teams are always changing and the external context is always changing, this is something really that we need to do this just like engagement surveys, because those are lagging indicators, whereas ours is leading. And we needed to pair this with our financial performance to be able to really know and correlate and really to know who to support before they underperform, fail, or quit. So we've built a partner portal. It's almost ready. So we'll be sending the link to anyone who's interested this week. And so this is how it works: is you sign up with us and you go to your portal and you click the button, you purchase the assessments, enter your discount code, and away we go. Okay. And this has a bunch of information on here as well that answers questions. So in summary, 3 whys of why we brought you here today. One, and this is most important to us, we want to help like literally millions of people struggle less. And that's the people we want to partner with is first and foremost, it's about reducing human struggle, uh, giving rocket fuel to human thriving. And it's totally possible for 99.5% of humans. It's just we haven't been trained how. And the second why is hopefully this upgrades your coaching kung fu and allows you to diagnose in minutes versus months. And then, of course, we wanted to come up with a really long-term, sustainable, truly generous and beneficial partnership model program. The next step is a one-to-one with me. I'm sure you have questions. We're early days in this. This is a soft launch, so you can book here or contact us afterwards, and then I'll step you through the process. And that is all, and we have time for some questions. Who's first?
Not a question yet, but just congratulations and thanks for sharing. And yeah, looks really amazing, and to see it fleshed out a little bit more following our conversation last week. So questions are coming, but just thanks for sharing for now.
You're welcome, John. Thank you so much. And, you know, we're a very open, humble group. Did you see something that concerned you? Do you have input? You know, all of the things are very, very welcome. And it's totally fine if this is time to digest. I'll share a video with you afterwards. But anything else that comes to mind, top of mind today? Could you see this being useful in your practice? All right. Okay, we have we have lots of listening going on today. That's cool. And if we're good, then that's great. It's a true gift of your time. And because
Yeah,
that is
Greg,
please.
one thing I'll just ask the group to ponder on and think about is, because I think this is an interesting question, is frequency of, the assessment. This is what I find myself wondering about. I'm not sure I have answers yet, is how frequent, and then the pricing on if, they wanted to do it monthly or quarterly, and how do we approach this? And as a community, I think we went through this with the SDI as an assessment that can be used at the individual and team level of, at what point does it make sense to provide access to taking, more of a subscription or something like that. So I just find myself pondering these. I haven't. I'm so excited about the impact of teams seeing where they're at, and being able to really have a comprehensive collective understanding of where they're at and where they want to go. That I think that's where I'm focused on right now. But these questions are out there.
So appreciate that. And we're posing the same questions to ourselves, right? Because this is new and we're learning and we want to learn together. I'll just say a couple of comments and then I'll answer your question specifically. If it were me, and this is just my own personal view, I would either do the team assessment with my team either quarterly, because that's our cadence for measuring financial performance, or I would do it semi-annually, sort of like in conjunction with our engagement surveys, something like that, right? If I was in an M&A situation, because that's so intense, I would do it monthly, right? Because this, a lot can happen in a month in an M&A scenario. So that's how I'd answer that question. And to share with you, if everyone can see this is the whole pricing table. And so this gets into what happens with subscription. So I showed you the top portion of it here. And then we get into ongoing annual subscription. This is just for the software basis. And you can see here that it's very nominally priced. If they're doing it 4 times a year, it's $30 per person, right? So the idea here is that this is a tool that we can really, really cost effectively use ongoing. And then, of course, additional coach earning opportunities. If they're going on a software subscription, either doing it 4 times or 2 times a year, sometimes they may want additional consulting and a debrief, and then that's a la carte.
Great, that's helpful.
Is that, Gil, you've got much more experience with that than we do. Does this make sense, that sort of approach?
Yeah, I think that the flexibility, and what I find is that if the group that's on this call will help us, any organization. It certainly, we had a group of 500-600 partners who, we were in relationship with, we felt strategic relationship with. So as we crafted the best way to meet the customer's needs as well as the needs of the partners, this was the tension that we navigated, and I just felt like we always found a productive way to move forward. And I think it moved with the involvement of the software. It moved to more subscription, but there still is just a tremendous market for just, I want to assess my team or my 20 teams in my organization. I want to do that twice a year, and it's going to be unit cost. And what drove the unit cost demand oftentimes was just the cost had to be allocated to a specific department, and the subscription made that difficult. So we really had to be comfortable doing both, based on not only what the customer wanted, but their financial structure and how they could allocate the cost to certain teams or certain departments. And so I was always surprised. Sometimes I felt the subscription was better for an organization, but they would say, yeah, but with we want to know, we want whoever's getting it to pay for it. And so they might have paid a little bit of a premium, but it worked with their system. But
wonderful. Oh, that's amazing. Amazing insight. That makes sense. Totally. Accounting, it's important. Juliana, I want to respect time. Would you like to freestyle here and close us out?
Yeah, I just want to thank you all for joining. I'm deeply curious to hear after we get off this call, as what was shared here today continues to kind of resonate into you a little bit deeper, and you move into the days and the interactions with clients you might be working with, or just thoughts that might come up. What I really heard from what Gil was, sharing as well, and what we really resonate here at CopperTeams is that we're all in this together. This is a collective mission, and there's a beautiful saying by a coach and spiritual teacher that I follow, and he says, "Find the others." And so we're on a mission also to find the others, which is why we're really bringing this into the community of coaches and executive advisors and others that are out there working. This is as Greg shared at the beginning, it's an $8.8 trillion loss in global GDP. Well, imagine if that was now not being lost, where those funds could be re-put into a place that could really do some good. And what we believe, what we've created here is an opportunity for us to be able to really support and guide people to come into a place where they can make that impact and where they're thriving in their teams. And Mia on our team really resonates, and her message is around the ripple effect. And so as coaches, as advisors, the opportunity we have to make a ripple effect so much further beyond just the space that is that team or that business happens when people leave elevated from their place of service and not diminished. And Gil, I wrote down to want to follow up more on that reality that the push around performance can be harming, and we're really looking at it to be healing and harmonizing. And so if that resonates with you, we would love to be able to continue to receive your feedback. We definitely don't have it perfected in all ways. This is version 1.0. There's so much growth for us in this. And if that collective mission aligns with you, I hope that you might continue to stay connected to us. And if you want to just put maybe like you can private message me, or you can just put it in the chat. If you're open to us following up with you after this webinar, just put a little like yes in the chat or a fun emoji, and we'll note that you've given us that permission to follow up and maybe invite you to be a part of our community. And we can continue to grow and develop and serve. So it's okay if what we've shared with you isn't, doesn't have quite a fit yet, or maybe doesn't, but just to share, how we might be able to fit in and support what your unique way of serving is as well. So, deepest gratitude. One of our values at CopperTeams is to honor every human in every interaction, and to love well, which is the long-term care and concern of the other. So thank you for showing up today and giving us a little bit of your space and heart and love, and that we might continue to move on and serve together.
Thank you. Take care.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Take care.
Thank you,
Bye.
everybody.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Craig.
you.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Juliana.
Thank
Beautiful.
you.
Blessings.
Thanks, Max.
Bye for now.